Over by ICE. What the fuck? We on the job site. Man, they bum rushed us. What the fuck? Talking about, do we have identification? Man, that shit. And then they just left like ain't shit happened. Man, what the fuck just happened? Hey, man, I ain't gonna lie. I thought we was about to die.
Yes, let me see your ID, please.
23-year-old Elzon Lemus, an electrician, was in his work van with a coworker when they were pulled over by ICE agents in Westbury.
Because you look like somebody woke up.
What's that for? Looking for?
Lemus asks why they need his ID.
All right, this is going to go one of two ways here. Okay. I need to see your ID. If you're not the guy I'm looking for, you're not the guy I'm looking for.
Okay,
right? But we need your ID.
Nah.
Okay, if you don't get your ID, then we're gonna, have to figure out another way to ID you, and it may not work out well for you.
Nah.
Listen, I'm not rolling up. Keep it down. I keep it down for safety.
What are you doing?
The agent forces the door open and demands Lemus stops recording. Lemus was born and raised in New York and was stunned.
I felt like my rights were just like out the window, and like it's like that. It felt like I didn't have anything, anymore. Like I couldn't do much now.
Lemus was taken out of the car, handcuffed for about 25 minutes while the ICE agents searched him. When they found his ID, they let him go.
They just left pretty upset because they couldn't take us. Me and my coworker, we were fine.
All right. Giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Rakaha Kwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. All right. We're going to title this video, AHCHYAM. If you run into an ICE agent, remember Matthew 5:25. Okay. All right. Because, this ICE agent activity is ramping up, and, we got to know what to do when we come across these situations. All right. Because at this point, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. All right. Because if like I know, America is getting ready to, be under martial law. So once that happens in America, okay, the streets of America is going to be flooded with military presence. Okay, different paramilitary organizations are going to be hitting the streets. Okay, and, just like how you see these ICE agents running down on people, asking them for their identification, which is, the same thing that they were doing in Nazi Germany. Okay, if you know anything about that history, I think they were telling those rats, okay, those Israelis, because I don't want to call them, Jews. Okay. The real Jews are the Negroes. All right. In America. Okay. And throughout all the four corners of the earth. All right. They had to make, they forced those, gutter rats to, wear that star, I believe. They had to wear a star, and then they had to walk around with their papers, okay, just to prove that they were a citizen at the time. That's what was going on in Nazi Germany, okay, and at that time they were under martial law. All right, so the same thing is being developed in America, okay, little by little. So pretty soon, all of the streets of America is going to be flooded with, military activity. OK, so we're not going to be able to avoid running into one of these agents. All right. Or running into the military for much longer. Okay. There's going to be checkpoints. There's going to be, freeways are going to be stopped because the military is going to be going from car to car, checking people's identification. These are the things that's getting ready to take place on the earth. OK, martial law. All right. So, as these things ramp up, OK, we got to remember to stay locked in the spirit. Right. And, to go according to the playbook that Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai has left us. OK, when we, pretty much, get caught up in these tricky situations. All right. So without further ado, I'm going to just, scan through these little videos. All right. And, these are examples of what not to do. OK. And this is why you see 2/3 of our people. OK, they're getting brutalized by these ICE agents. OK, because they're not going according to, the scripture. All right. They're not following the blueprint of what the Messiah said to do when you're confronted with these law enforcements. Right. Our people are not following, what Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai told us. OK, and that's because Hosea 4:6, our people are destroyed for a lack of knowledge. All right. 2/3 are destroyed for a lack of knowledge on this side, man. So they don't have any knowledge of the Lord. So when they come across these ICE agents, all right, they start to act belligerent. They start to take it personal. They start yelling and screaming. And, this is why Jake is getting beat up, slammed on the floor. All right. And, thrown in detention center. So let's skim through this video right here. OK, and, give you some examples of what not to do. All right. So you got this video right here. OK, Jake is in the car. Well, I don't know if they're Jakes, but I know that, it's people in the car sound like a Jake on the video. But all right. So you can see that it looks like they're like in a van. Right. So you can see that the ICE agents got them surrounded, OK, and got them trapped in that van. Now, when you watch this video, what is, the person doing? OK, they're panicking. OK, they're panicking and, they're nervous. They're shaky, and that's one of the things that you don't want to do. OK, when you panic, first and foremost, it's a sign of a lack of faith, right? You thinking from a carnal perspective. And then when you panic, you tend to make reckless decisions. OK, so time and time again, you see our people get confronted with these law enforcement agents. All right. And, they're always panicking. They're always panicking. They're saying more than what has to be said. You know what I'm saying? You got to be locked in to Yahweh Ba'Shem Shai. First thing that these people should have been doing, okay, well, what the hopeful elect would have been doing in this situation, we would have been throwing up prayers, right? We would have been asking the Lord right there on the spot to protect us, all right, from that situation, okay? But like I said, our people, they don't have any faith, man. So this is why a lot of our people, all right, in these days are going to get steamrolled, OK, by these agents. All right. So here's another video. OK, you got a woman getting dragged out the car. And this is probably she's more than likely one of them mouthy ones. All right. And that's something that you don't want to do either, man. You come across one of these ICE agents. OK, don't try to mouth off. All right. Fuck that penal code shit. And you trying to, rehearse your rights and your constitutional rights. All right. We ain't in them times no more, man. All right. These ain't the times. These ain't the civil rights era. Right. Where you're going to tell the law enforcement, you're going to recite some penal code that you learned off YouTube. And then you think that that's going to be enough to back them off you. Oh, this is a smart American citizen. We better not mess with this person. Nah, man. All right. OK, these are the beginning stages of martial law. All right. Constitutional rights. All right. Are slowly being yanked away. So you think these goddamn ICE agents give a fuck about, your rights and who you are as a citizen? Okay. And this is what happens to individuals that try that method, man. All right. Look, she's getting dragged out the car. Okay. And she's still popping it off. You see, she still can't let it go. And they probably took her dumb ass to a detention center somewhere. All right. She's probably in there right now. OK, who knows, man? But this is the worst example. They got to punch out the window. What do the scriptures say about, when you come in contact with these, with the authorities? All right, let's start at Romans 13:2. This is Romans 13:2. It says that whosoever therefore resisteth the power, resisteth the ordinance of God. OK, and, these law enforcement agencies, OK, ICE agents. All right. They have power given unto them by the Heavenly Father because, these ICE agents are pretty much a whooping stick for the wicked. All right. They're being used right now by the Heavenly Father to punish people who are settled on their leaves, punish people who ignore the word of Yahweh AHCHYAM Shai, punish people who don't want to, get with the program of the Lord. All right. The wicked. OK. And that's something that you have to understand. You have to understand first and foremost that the Heavenly Father set this up, man. OK. Yeah, Esau. Yeah, the devil. Yeah, the government. OK, you could say they're being unfair and this tyrannical, but people don't ever, draw everything back spiritually. OK, and repent to the Lord, because this is the Lord's doing. All right. This is prophesied all throughout the scriptures before there was anything before there was ever an agency called ICE. All right. This was already prophesied in the scriptures. OK, they shall be like it says in Second Esdras, they shall be as madmen, sparing none. Right. Luke, the 19th chapter, where it talks about the enemy is going to come and, lay you down even with the ground, and they're going to hog tie you. All right. Luke 19:43, I believe. Read that. And then it talks about, I believe, in Ezekiel, where it talks about, the invaders are going to deal furiously with the people. So this is all prophesied through the scriptures already, man. All right. The Lord is in control. All right. And the Lord said, whosoever resisteth the power, meaning that you trying to pop it off like this, you trying to be mouthy to the authorities. OK. It says, resisteth the ordinance of God, and they that resist shall receive to themselves damnation. And this is why you see people, just police in general, motherfuckers, they try, police try to pull them over and ask for their identification. And then a nigga try to be a goddamn smart ass. OK, because, this motherfucker feel like this is his time to be brave. All right. And stand up against oppression. And then the nigga end up with 6 bullets inside of him. All right. Or the nigga end up embarrassed to where they got his ass hog tied on the ground and they whooping his ass. All right. And these ICE agents. All right. They're not regular police officers, man. OK, they're not regular police officers. OK, so they're not going to be bound to the same restrictions that police officers are bound to. OK, you see what they're doing. They're whooping people's ass. They're dragging them out the car. They're body slamming them. All right. Because these are disgruntled Americans. All right. That are employed by the U.S. government to be dog catchers. All right. So, you can't expect the same mercy that you would get from a police officer, man. All right. This ain't the time to try to prove something, man. This is the time to be wise as a serpent. All right. In these situations, man. OK, it could really determine your life. All right. Being wise. All right. In these times. OK, it could determine your life now. All right. You got to really be careful, man, when you come across these agents. Verse 3, it says, for rulers are not a terror to good works, but to the evil. Right. So the Lord got these these ICE agents out here to punish the evil, to punish 2/3 of our people. OK, that have ignored the Lord's counsel. All right. This is what the Lord said would happen. All right. Proverbs, the 1st chapter. OK, the Lord said that this was going to happen, that our people's calamity was going to eventually come upon them. All right. For their hurtful works that, so, this is not something that's unexpected. OK, if you've been locked into the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, this is not something that's unexpected. So when you come across these agents, OK, you shouldn't be surprised. You shouldn't be you shouldn't react carnal and get offended. All right. This is the will of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, to punish the wicked. OK, but it says, they're not a terror unto good works, because if you do that which is pleasing to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, the Lord won't have you in a situation like this. The Lord won't have you get embarrassed like this. OK, you think this woman got faith? She ain't got no faith. Right. If she had faith, first and foremost, she's a woman. So what is she doing trying to pop off and trying to assert her masculinity? They for damn sure grabbed her ass out the car. Don't nobody want to hear no goddamn loud mouth, proud ass woman. All right. And you see these niggas is grabbing her out with urgency. All right. Don't nobody want to hear that shit out of you goddamn women no more. You women are going to learn to shut the fuck up, man. OK. A savage world is coming upon America, man. All right. This ain't the time for a woman to be popping off. But hey, this woman, she ain't got no faith in the Lord. OK, she ain't got no faith in the Lord, because the Lord gives women the blueprint as well. All right. On how to stay out of trouble. OK, to be quiet and discreet and have discretion. If she was feminine, if she was cooperative, this wouldn't have happened to her. But I guarantee you, when them ICE agents rolled up on her, immediately she start popping it off. You think I got my rights. OK, and they showed her right away that you ain't got no rights, you nigga. All right. Dark times we're in, man. Gotta be very, very wise. OK, very circumspect. It says, wilt thou then not be afraid of the power? Do that which is good, and thou shalt have praise of the same. Yeah, if you do that which is good, okay, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai will keep these agents, okay, away from you. Or if you do encounter one of these agents, okay, things will go in your favor. All right. The Lord will tune their spirit. All right. To give you a pass, or however it goes, man. All right. But this is this is our faith. OK, this is our faith, and our faith is getting ready to be put to use. All right. And the Lord wants to see us put these tokens to use, man. All right. So when you get caught up in a situation like this, all right, that is your chance to show the Lord your faith. All right. Don't be like Jake, man. OK, don't be like Jake. All right. Because this is all that's going to happen to niggas that operate outside of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, trying to establish their own way. All right. When they get confronted with these law enforcement agencies. All right. And hey, you know what? Worse. This is nice. It's getting ready to get worse, man. Pretty soon it ain't going to be no more talking. All right. Pretty soon these law enforcements, they're going to ask people, one time, your identification. As soon as a nigga try that shit, all right, they either going to beat the nigga senseless, all right, and throw him in a goddamn van and send him to a concentration camp, or they just going to put a bullet in his head, man. All right. That's the type of world we coming into, man. All right. You got to learn to be neutral. OK, you got to be neutral when you come across these, these agents out here, man. All right. Don't do anything to stir up any more wrath. All right. Don't say no slick shit. Be cool. They ask you for your identification. Just give it to them. OK, because, when Jake get to doing all of that shit and wiggling around, and why you need that? Why you need my identification? What I do? OK, now you look suspicious. All right. And on top of that, you pissing off the ICE agent. right? Because the ICE agent is already hyped up with a demon. All right. These ICE agents got demons on them, man. So why would you increase the fire that they already have inside of them? You want to quail that down, man, by being cool, calm, and collected. All right. Look at Yahushua as an example. When Yahushua got grabbed up by the Romans, was Yahushua yelling and making a big ass scene? Right. When he stood in front of Pontius Pilate, was he yelling and making a big ass scene and talking about this is unfair and how could y'all do this to me and reciting his rights as a Roman citizen? Did he do any of that shit? All right. Or was he cool, calm, and collected? OK, so Yahushua gave us the example of how to be. All right. When these these authoritative figures come, when we come across these individuals. OK. All right. And this is a terrible example. And this is why this is happening to Jake. You see in videos like this all over the internet, Jake is just getting slammed around. OK, let's go to this next video. So you got this dude right here. Right. It's another dude. All right. Another little dumb little Latino trying to be cute. OK. And the ICE agent was asking him for his identification. And Jake is sitting there. Nah, I don't want to give it to you. Nah, with a camera phone. You antagonizing a bear, man. OK, doing that shit, man. Don't be trying to pull out your damn camera phone. All right. Don't be trying to, fuck all that smart, wise guy shit, man. All right. It's about getting back home to your family. It's about staying alive here, man. OK, it's not about trying to prove something. OK, the ICE agents that, going against the ICE agents, that's not our fight, man. All right. Like we've been saying, that's not our fight. That's why you don't see the men of the Lord out there protesting. You don't see us out there with picket signs taking it to the enemy. Nah, man, we out there. We is out there, right, on the corners. But we bringing out the word because that's enough. OK, we don't need to, try to assert our dominance. Right. Whenever we get confronted. All right. With one of these agents. OK, so you got Jake right here. All right. This ICE agent. OK, and clearly, man, this is not a nigga. You see this ICE agent, bro. This is a nigga you want to just agree with and get the hell out of this nigga face. Clearly, this nigga's a demon. A fucking pale Edomite with sunglasses on. Right. With some shades on. Right. You could tell this nigga's a demon. Why would you agitate a demon even more? OK, and you had this ICE agent that was asking him, hey, man, I just need your identification. All right. See, the problem is Jake take things personal. All right. That's that goddamn fucking feminism inside of our people, man. That's that female vibration. You take everything personal. Why you want to see my ID? I ain't doing nothing. I'm just driving around it. You know what I'm saying? Don't take things personal, man. OK, because these things aren't personal. Remember, Yahweh Shai is in control of everything. So if the Lord has you encounter an ICE agent, right, it's more than likely a test from the Lord. It's the Lord testing your level of faith. Right. Because you don't really know how much faith somebody has until they're put into a traumatic situation. All right. We could all sit here and say we have faith. I got faith. I got faith. Right. But you don't really know until you're in a situation. Right. You know what I mean? That's very stressful, I'll say. OK, that's when you really find out how much faith you got. All right. So Jake is sitting here. All right. They asking him for his ID. Right. And he had to open the door. You see how he had to open that door? You see, because Jake would not cooperate, man. Just cooperate, man. Look at Jake's stupid ass. Now you asking for sympathy, but nigga, you didn't do what Yahweh Shem Shai told you. All right. You didn't do what the Lord told you. OK, and you lucky they didn't kill your ass, man. All right. Trying to be a smart ass. Let me get this Matthew 5:25. All right. It says, agree with thine adversary quickly. You see, all of this could have been avoided if Jake would have just gave him the identification. Here you go, man. You know what I mean? Here you go. All right. And Jake was cool, calm, and collected. The ICE agent would have been, all right, man. Well, all right, man. Well, you ain't who we looking for. Okay. All right, man. Have a good day. All right, man. Have a good one. You know what I mean? You got to be so cool when you get in front of these law enforcements. You gotta be so cool that it's almost like they don't even want to do you harm. You ever met somebody that's just so goddamn cool, like the motherfucker just so cool and so friendly, you know what I'm saying? And you know, the motherfucker just so relaxed, you know, and you know, it's just like a positive energy around them. You know, the last thing you thinking about is causing that individual harm because they too cool. You know, that's how you want to be in these situations. OK, you want to put on that cool vibe. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what up, man? How you doing? How you doing? You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you. All right. And I'm telling you, as somebody with experience. OK, I've encountered you know, I've encountered an ICE agent and police officers in this truth. All right. And, you know, the Lord create a backdoor escape if you play it out. You play it out like that. OK, you follow the example of AHCHYAM, man. All right. Not bucking up, not trying to prove something. OK, this is how you Jakes is getting beat up, man. You getting slammed. You getting embarrassed. All right. Because you refuse to hearken to the words of the Lord. All right. Jake don't even care to open up the scriptures to see what to do about ICE. You ain't heard no Jakes yet. Jake yet. You ain't heard Jake yet say, OK, maybe we should get back into the Bible and see what the Lord said about this. Jake is just taking everything for carnal face value and trying to establish their own way. And that's going to get a lot of you niggas killed, man. A lot of you niggas is getting ready to die. OK, for these reckless decisions. All right. When it comes down to this law enforcement. All right. Agree with thine adversary quickly whilst thou art in the way with him. Lest at any time the adversary deliver thee to the judge and the judge deliver thee to the officer and thou be cast into prison. All right. You know, now you getting taken to one of them detention centers. You know what I mean? Now you go into a FEMA camp. All right. You know. And I'll just say this, OK, I'm pretty sure there's some brothers that's in the truth, brothers and sisters that's in the truth. All right. That, you know, you might not have your paperwork right 100%. You know, you might be what's considered an illegal immigrant. Hey, you still got to, you know, follow the scripture. OK, you still got to follow the blueprint. OK, just because you might be an illegal immigrant, does that mean that it's time to panic? Or let me try to, you know, the ICE agent pull up on me. Let me try to drive off on him, get in a high speed chase or some crazy shit. Because I already know I'm an illegal immigrant. No, you know, hey, that, you know, doing shit like that, taking matters into your own hands is a lack of faith. OK, yeah. So what? You know, you might be an illegal immigrant. So what? All right. Remember, AHCHYAM is in control. OK, you could be an illegal immigrant and the Lord could put an idea inside of that ICE agent's mind to be like, hey, you know what, man? We cool, man. You know, you go ahead, man. Go ahead and go enjoy your day, man. You know, I know you're an immigrant, but you know, we hit our quota for the day. So you can go ahead, man. Just be safe out here. You know, you see, the Lord is in control of these things. So you still got to, you know, tap in to the spirit. All right. When you're confronted with these type of situations. All right. You know, don't panic. OK, you don't want to panic, man. Panic results in reckless decisions, man. OK, the Lord is going to be putting us in these type of situations to test us, man. Remember that. This is Proverbs 15:1. It says a soft answer turneth away wrath. You see, and Jake is not giving soft answers. You see, like I said, you know, these ICE agents, they're already on a sick one. All right. Who knows what their orders are? Who knows what they're being told by their captains? Who knows how malicious this little operation is, man? You don't want to add flame to the fire, man. OK, you don't want to add fuel to that fire, man. OK, you want to give soft answers to turn away that wrath, man. All right. Don't be like Jake, okay? Don't be like these niggas, all right? This is why 2/3 is going to get wiped out, all right? 2/3 is going to get wiped out. I'll probably say about 80% of 2/3 is going to get wiped out due to reckless decisions, due to decisions that are not founded in the will of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai, okay? Trying to establish their own thing, right? Trying to do it their way. 80% of you niggas is going to die doing this stupid shit, man. Okay, we ain't in them times no more, all right? Things is getting ready to get deadly serious, okay? Things is going to get so serious to the point to where, you know, one day you're going to come outside and the whole city, your whole neighborhood, your whole state is going to be locked down with military presence, right? You're going to be waking up just to leave your own neighborhood. You're going to have to do a checkpoint with the military, okay? You're going to be seeing people getting dragged to concentration camps with your own eyes, and it's going to be a regular thing, all right? You might see people lined up against the wall, all right, with their faces toward the wall, and the motherfucking the martial law troops, you know, load their guns up and just start shooting them down, and you just gonna have to walk away as if it didn't happen. Okay, these are the times that we're coming into, man. So hey, you're really gonna have to apply wisdom to stay alive, man. Okay, and as we see the day approaching, all right, you know, we're supposed to order our conversation aright. All right. Our minds is supposed to be rooted. All right. More and more. All right. In the spirit of Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai. OK, to avoid these type of little skirmishes, man. All right. The Lord is going to be making miracles happen for those that do the right thing. OK, for those that follow the program. All right. Remember, it talks about Revelation 3:10. All right. You know, a trial period is coming upon the earth. All right. And we know that that's ultimately talking about the chip. Right. You know, it was talking about what it says in Revelation 13. But, you know, it's going to be a trial of everything, man. It's going to be a trial of your integrity, your courage, your patience. You know, you're going to be tried. OK, you're going to be put through a test. All right. And coming across these agents like this is going to be a test. All right. The Lord is going to be putting us in these situations to see, OK, what is he going to do? All right. Is he going to bug out? Is he going to lose faith? Is he going to start doing carnal shit? Or is he going to lock in right away, OK, to what I told him to do? All right. It says, but grievous words stir up anger. And that's why 2/3 of our people are getting fucked up the way that they are, because they all, you know, they're giving grievous words to these law enforcement agents that are coming across them. Now, I'm not justifying these ICE agents. These ICE agents are wicked. OK, you know, and anybody involved with that ICE shit, they're going to be destroyed, because you got some Israelites that are ICE agents, man, and they're going to be destroyed. OK. Everybody who's not a part of the elect on this side in America is going to be destroyed, whether you are ICE agent or not. All right. I'm not justifying their behavior at all. All right. But I understand that Yahweh Ba'Hashem Yahushai is in control. OK, so they're only doing what the Lord is telling them to do through the Spirit. You see, you know. So it'd be in your best interest to stay on the Lord's good side, all right, before the evil days come. See, a lot of our people are going to try to snap into a Slim Jim once they get confronted in these situations. Oh, God, help, God, right? When he's in that van, handcuffed on the way to that goddamn camp. God, please, God. Nah, man, the whole purpose is to you know, have faith and be obedient to the Lord before any of this happens, right? Before you get caught up in this situation, the Lord ain't finna hear you, right? Now that an ICE agent and bust your fucking window, now that, you know, they got you face face first down to the fucking floor, right? They got a gun at your head, right? They done killed your family in front of you. The Lord ain't finna hear you then, okay? The Lord wants to see who got faith and who was obedient before any of this happened, man. All right? Who had the foresight to see it happen before it happened? Because just based on the faith of what the Lord told us, man. Okay? So ultimately, you got to remember, this is all going to be a test. All right? So it's nothing to take personal. Okay? Don't try to crash out on them. All right? You know, be neutral, be smooth, agree with thy adversary quickly, and get the hell out of there. Okay? So, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. I'll give all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. Shalom.